Greetings and salutations, everyone, to the final episode of the Cortana Cuckold Saga. The TV show that was everything I expected it to be. Every single damn thing. Although, I grant you, I didn't see the actual, physical cuckolding of an AI program. That one came as a surprise. But Pablo taking off the helmet, never putting it back on again, and even when he did, only for the briefest of moments, the MacGuffin painting a map in the sky of the Halo, etc. The sex scenes themselves, all of this was eerily predictable. But hey, at least, cuckolding.
You and your sick fetishes. We didn't even get to see the Halo. The season finale was just teasing it too. No Halo. No Halo. Can you believe that? After all that, after 9 episodes of waffling about, there was no Halo in the Halo TV show.
That's not entirely correct, okay? You saw visions of the Halo.
Yes, visions. Visions that Master Chief had of the Halo because he has the blessed gene that somehow he has. These genes give him the power to have visions.
That they
because the writer said they do, even though that's not quite how Forerunner and human interfacing works at all. But don't worry about it.
That's how Halo works, Kyle. I thought you were the Halo expert and you don't even know these basic things.
I'm not even an expert, but it's like, as a basic fan of the Halo IP, like, this is just common knowledge.
Kyle doesn't even know that the Halo was revealed because of the magic human gene. It was like it was a thing in the sky, and there were 3 triangles and stuff.
It wasn't an accident after the Battle of Reach, where the Pillar of Autumn jumped out of slip space and was like, "Oh, we came out of nowhere. Oh my god." Oh,
that's correct.
Nope. Reach is fine, by the way. They figured out where the rings are, or one of the rings, which I assume I assume it's installation 4, but with this show, you never know. So it's presumably season 2. We'll see 343 Guilty Spark. I'm sure 343 will be trans or something by the time we.
And hey, listen, Reach isn't fine, okay? They touched the triangle, and the triangle did a woof, and then the fire alarm kicked in for about 30 seconds.
That's true. The fire alarm came on. But not the base alarm for some mystical reason.
Well, the base alarm never rang, allowing McKee to grab the triangle and simply walk out.
Walk out. Completely, with no problem. She, manages to perfectly understand human weaponry, too. Just takes a pistol, bam, and then it's like, show me where the Phantom is so I can escape. And the MP guy, instead of saying fuck you because I know you're gonna kill me, he's like, okay, and then gets shows her and then dies.
Luckily, the Covenant taught her how to fly fighters too. That's good.
That's good. Well, the Phantom's a dropship, actually, or gunship, dropship thing, maboppy. Actually.
Regardless, the point stands. If we put Kyle in the cockpit of an UH-60 Blackhawk, we won't have a Kyle anymore.
Nor will you have a UH-60 Blackhawk. If I can turn it on, that is.
Yes, McKee is, it's good, okay? Like, you've got the Blessed One, so obviously you're gonna give the Blessed One's pilot training, because, naturally.
Yeah, of course. She knows all the knowledge she needs to know. The MacGuffin does all the things it needs to do in this episode. Not just once, but twice, mind you. Or actually, yeah. Twice, sort of thrice, but yeah.
Let's see. What has the... okay, so... First MacGuffin, which was kind of end of the last episode, but was also done in this episode, so it's fair games, was she touched the MacGuffin, and the MacGuffin did a AoE stun effect.
Yep.
Because that was what was required of the MacGuffin at the time.
Yep. Did it on everyone, disabled all the security systems, because of course it did. Disabled every ship, because of course it did. Except for Halsey's ship, for some reason. And except for the Phantom. for some reason that she needed to use.
Disabled the EMP gun, disabled all anti-aircraft guns, disabled the radio, presumably, because that was being jammed by Halsey, and then her ship got shot down, so I guess that was just a thing that continued.
Mm-hmm.
Then the MacGuffin got to the Covenant's holy place, and they put the MacGuffin inside of the second larger MacGuffin, and that created a map to the Halo. And then the MacGuffin was touched again, and yet again it fired out a stun pulse that threw all of the elites off the rock, but not so many elites that it decided the fight, because then, it'd be kind of boring and shit.
Yep. Also, I do like how the elites, their shields, cease functioning, because the plot demands it to. Like, all of them, collectively. Like, and it's not even the MacGuffin that does it. Same for the Brute's armor. Like, the bullets just, like, the low-caliber bullets are just killing them, like, left and right. Like, they're just cannon fodder.
Well, I literally called this in episode 1. Like, the elites are gonna have shields whilst the random nobodies are shooting at them. And the moment the Spartans show up, those shields ain't gonna work no more.
Yep, their shields just turn off. Like, there's no challenge of, like, popping their shield and killing them. Nope, it's just, they're shooting, like, there's a scene where Kai literally pulls out her pistol and is shooting elites with the pistol and one-shotting every single one of them. Like, pep, 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 pep. And there's no shield bursting from, being overcharged from all the, the stress. No, it's just, there's no shield. There's just the blood. They haven't enabled them. They haven't turned them on. For some reason, it's weird.
It's fine. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. But they've discovered the Covenant homeworld, or Magic World, or Holy World, or whatever the hell it is. See, you guys were, it looks like a tabletop. No. I'll tell you what it looks like. It looks like that map from Unreal Tournament. The one with the 2 temples on either side of the gorge that captured the flag map. That's what it looked like.
A little bit. Halo 3 even had a map kind of similar to that one. But yeah, so they're like, this Covenant planet's important. And it's like, why is it important? Like, it's not, it's definitely, for those who knows what Halo is, High Charity is the capital of the Covenant. This is not High Charity. This is just some desert planet that was obscured because shards of glass? Like, what? Like, it was weird.
No, I called this the moment they talked about it, because McKeel was like, our planet is here. And she specifically, I think, said homeworld as well. So, no, that's your homeworld, Carl. But it's not that. Yeah, it is. Mm-hmm.
High Charity is important because High Charity is built around a Forerunner object that activates the portal on Earth.
And that's where Kyle is wrong. But she told them, oh, this is where it is. And they were like, so we've looked at the system. We can't find anything. And the moment they're like, yes, specific choosage of words. So this would all have been fixed if they had sent a single scouting vessel to be like, take a picture. And they'd be like, is there a weird, nebula thing there? Could something be hidden inside of the nebula?
What's funny? The best part about that whole section, too, is Cortana even says in the ship on their way there, it's like, yeah, we've always known that this area is weird and that we can't use, regular means to look at it. And it's like, okay, so the UNSC knew that, but didn't, and they were told that the planet was there, and they're like, well, turn every, satellite there, and it's like, we can't see it still, even though it's that weird place that we know we can't see, with satellites. Oh, I guess there's nothing there.
Guess we best give up on that one.
Oh my god, that's so stupid. Oh my god, and the Dr. Halsey thing. Oh god, it's bad this time around, isn't it?
Well, Dr. Halsey makes her escape, but it was never Dr. Halsey at all. It was a flash clone of Dr. Halsey. A clone that lasted precisely long enough, as these things tend to do.
Yep, before it had its seizure moment and died, and Halsey escaped so that she could be like, haha, I'm too evilly smart and stuff to be captured by you. In season 1, I need to be teased for season 2.
And they've whinged about this a lot now, but... So, Halsey got the children. She got the children, and she put them through boot camp and turned them into Space Marines. Right. But Captain Race Swap, an Indian fat chick, did the exact same thing. In fact, they were not just in on it, they greenlit it. So why is Dr. Halsey the only bad guy here?
Yeah, I do like that. It's like Dr. Halsey made an embarrassment of the entire thing. And then the Spartans who are, the victims of this thing, who are having their emotional feelings, time, are like, we were mad at Halsey. We don't want Halsey to die. And then, like, Captain Keyes literally tells him, like, yeah, so we were in on it, and you should probably kill us too. And like, nah, you're fine. You're just misunderstood.
They don't even really react to it. Like, Captain Race Swap is there like, if you're gonna shoot anybody, you should shoot me. They don't even mention it. There doesn't seem to be any kind of legal proceeding against them. They're not being held for questioning. There seems to be no consequences. Dr. Halsey is the only one who gets the shtick for this. Why?
They just flat out ignore it, and it's crazy, isn't it? Like they didn't care at all.
Did the writers just not think about it, and then they were like, well, I mean, we can't arrest Captain Race Swap. I mean, he's important. Just ignore that part then.
Alright, so we know that these guys did these things, against our authorization. And it's a huge embarrassment for the committee. Who is the committee, by the way? Like, the more I'm remembering more about Halo, because I played through the games again. Like, I remember a lot, and I don't remember them being like, so the committee, the board of committee directors, they said that the Earth should build the defense platforms to blast a Covenant if they find Earth. Yes, the committee approved that. Like, what? There was no committee? This magic, mystifistical organization, governmental body that exists out of nowhere.
There's always a committee.
A committee, a board of directors, if you will. Shareholders, maybe. Of stocks in the UNSC. Oh my goodness.
Luckily, however, Spartans all alike, Pablo Schreibers and Kais and gun greasers and everything, they go to the secret planet. They travel through spaghetti space, which is the scientific term, apparently.
They actually unironically call it spaghetti.
Now, luckily,
like,
spaghetti space is super dangerous the first time you travel through it and threatens to, like, tear the ship apart. Cortana fails, the computers fails, and they only make it through because Pablo Schreiber knows that this is the way. But on the return trip, none of that shit happens. Like, it's just a clean flight. Just lucky, too, because, Spartan number 3 has a massive hole torn in her chest, which they heal by pointing a blowtorch at it, and, well, there you go, that fixed her right up.
Yep. Despite, like, they're torching her organs that are exposed. That's the best part. It's like, gotta cauterize the wound. Like, you can see her, like, little, like, heart sticking out a little bit, and it just, like, burns it a little. It's like, okay, that's totally what you do in a medical situation like that, right? You just burn the exposed organs. And the best part is, she just focuses on burning the organs in the center of mass of the organ pile, and then just leaves the rest. It's like, it's still shiny. It's like, well, now if she wasn't in incredible pain from the grenade detonation earlier, she's in more, well, I guess, maybe not. If those nerve endings are burned, there was initially pain, but now it's gone, right? All the nerves are fried, literally.
Oh, the nerve endings on your organs.
Listen, she reacted as if there were nerve endings on those organs.
And this all comes at the end of a climactic battle which looked remarkably cheap and was very uninteresting. At least there were pew-pew noises, but compared to the action in, what was it, episode 5 or 6 or something, this was way worse. Like, I don't mind the first-person segments. Those are okay. Although, the numbers of ammo on Pablo Schreiber's gun don't fit up with how he's firing it, but at least that was actiony or packed. Things were happening, guns were going pew 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 pew. There were the grunts there and the elites and stuff, and the elites were like, rawr, and then they got shot and murdered like goddamn nothing, because they're not worth anything anymore. But then the brutes came in, they were like, rawr, and then they got murdered too, because they weren't particularly interesting. And then the large monkey thing from episode 5 was like, hello, and then he got shots in the face, because he didn't wear a helmet either.
That was kind of funny, though. The big boss man, the big boss brute, right? Is just Chief shoots him in the head.
Well, not well, that was Chief. So Chief decides that he can't save everybody for reasons that are never quite... Okay, so Pablo Schreiber's like, my God, Cortana, you must take over my body because I can't win this fight alone. Cortana's like, but Chief, that's stupid. I might just kill you and shit. And Pablo just kills himself by walking out in the middle of the battlefield and just standing there. It's like, if I put myself in enough danger and don't even try to resolve the situation, Cortana will totally take over my body. And she does.
Yeah, that was so dumb. So, the best part is, that is the most anti-Chief thing in this show, for sure. Because instead of Chief just slaughtering them, like he would in canon, he's just sort of like, I can't handle the Kerbinant. There are too many Kerbinant. I need Cortana to take over my body. I can't do it. I don't know how to fight. And it's like, what? Are you shitting me?
Turns out Master Chief was already always pretty shit at this whole fighting stuff.
According to... The best part is a lot of the people defending this are trying to switch the angle that this is... It's part of the Halo multiverse, it exists, but, there's not a lot of stuff about it, but, like, the Halo multiverse is a thing. And it's like, shut the fuck up. There's no Halo multiverse. This is just some weird ass shit that they're trying to pump out. This is the same shit that Marvel has been doing. Like, it's like, we finished our story. We're creatively bankrupt. So what if we retell it? But this time, Batman farts loudly and angrily every time he punches someone. It's like, yes, the multiverse, fantastic.
The multiverse. Luckily, though, Cortana turns out to be a much better fighter than Chief ever was, and she easily beats the shit out of the Covenant, partially because she's remote controlling the fancy flying thingamajig, the Thunderhawk thing, as well. Which she could have done already. Like, there was nothing stopping her from going like, yo, Chief, like, I can just fly in the gunship and go like...
That's also true. Because she did that in the scene when she was fighting, when he was fighting the Spartans. So why she only remote controlled the Pelican after Chief basically let himself die?
Yes.
Which is really lame.
Yes.
Incredibly lame.
Yes.
Like that hurts actually, doesn't it? It's like, so the amount of plot holes in this show are bad, right? But this last episode is just chocked with them. Like, you've got the Maquis thing where she just waddles away with the stuff because the MacGuffin conveniently does all the things she needs to do in order to escape. And then you got the Maquis, being like, well, I'm gonna touch the artifact to save Master Chef, and then she does it, and then... Kelly shoots her, or Kai, I'm sorry.
I also need to point out that she touches the artifact to make it go poof. Which doesn't actually change the situation in the slightest. Like, it tosses a few of the elites off the rock, and then they just keep fighting.
Yeah.
Like...
And honestly, that gunship was gonna mow down half of them anyways.
It didn't
Her sacrifice
anything.
was meaningless.
It really
Her sacrifice was meaningless. Oh my god. I didn't think about that till now. Yeah, she died literally for no reason. It's kind of great.
Because Kai had to shoot her. And the thing is, too, she falls over dead, so very much like, oh my god, I'm dying, Pablo. And Pablo's like, oh no. I'm not convinced she's dead just yet. I'm not convinced.
No one's ever really gone.
The prophets are of course chilling nearby, within gunfire range. None of them get killed. I don't even think the Spartans noticed them, frankly.
That's true. Like, literally, the three leaders of the entire fucking Covenant are just sitting there on their little floaty-doty chairs being like, oh, yes, we're evil. Yeah. We totally intended to betray Maquis all along.
Like, rest assured, brother, we will burn her when she has used up her good useness. They still haven't even explained why they really needed her in the first place. It was just like, well, this human probably has the MacGuffin's powers. Let's bring one back as a souvenir. Give it dropship training while you're at it.
Yeah, teach it where the secret of our homeworld is, apparently, which our homeworld is this fucking planet over here in the middle of friggin' nowhere that isn't the Covenant homeworld, but don't worry about it.
It's gonna be useful information at some point in the future, I'm sure.
Also, don't forget, Indian chick was like, "Oh, I will send 10 battalions of Marines to that planet. Then 10,000 Marines in total will totally defeat the Covenant." It's like, 10,000 Marines to invade a planet. At least Chief called it out for what that was. Like, you send 10,000 Marines, you're gonna lose 10,000 Marines.
But, as it turned out, the Covenant had 0 defenses on this planet, and a garrison of just a few hundred elites. So those 10,000 Marines would have actually worked out really well.
Considering the circumstances of what actually happened, 10,000 Marines, and considering the fact that the elite shields don't work, the Marines would have done excellently. Like, it would have been a massive victory in the Human Covenant War.
Well, I'm sure the elites' shields would have worked well against the regular grunts, but even then, you just bring like 5 more pelicans, and you're pretty good.
Yeah, just strafe them. They had no anti-air support whatsoever. Oh my goodness.
Such a dumb. Like, this is the archetypical example of story does what story wants to do, with virtually 0 regard for what's actually happening or what should be happening.
Oh man, this episode is a culmination of all the bad that had been just brewing, and then it's like, look at this cool climactic battle, and the entire time I'm watching this quote unquote battle, right? Like, I'm not thinking about Halo. I'm going like, this looks like ass. Like, the fighting looks like ass. Like, the CG looks like ass. The story's bad. Like, who exactly is this marketed for? It's not even marketed for Halo, like, fans. Because it's not even Halo. Like, nothing about the show is Halo. In the slightest.
Well,
who is this marketed for?
It was never intended for those dirty Halo fans. There's probably like 6 of them anyways. This was intended for a mature audience that wanted to see a human journey. You see Pablo Schreiber realizing that he is Pablo Schreiber. Like that scene with Gun Grease Woman who's looking at Halsey and going like, who am I? Who am I?
Oh yeah, that was so dumb. Who am I? I do like how they unceremoniously killed off Halsey's assistant, her creepy assistant, that you knew they were planning to kill off, right? For a while there. And
that
like,
was just mean.
Just like throws his head into the ceiling and he just falls to the ground dead.
Listen,
it was very unclimactic.
Creepy assistant dude did not deserve to go that way. He was probably as sad as it goddamn is. He was the one character that I looked at and was like, you're weird. You can stay. Because at least he was awful. Like, he's just there, and he's a slimy little character thing. He's the Grima worm tongue of this series. Like, wow. You're funny. I liked him better.
Yes. He was kind of creepy when he tried to kiss the Flash clone. He's like, oh, tried to get Smoochie in there. And tried to get...
But he had to die because he was amusing to me. So, the last episode... Okay, so overall this one. Last episode just... When you have this much mess, you're gonna have a very messy finale. Which ends with a cliffhanger, quote-unquote, where it's like, is Cortana truly in control of Pablo Schreiber's body now? Or will Pablo Schreiber return? Like, this is the guy who insisted in his contract that he'd be allowed to take off his helmet every 5 seconds. I think Pablo Schreiber's just fine, thank you very much.
Yeah. The whole thing, like, it's... Like, the cliffhanger, like you said. Like, it's like, is it Chief? And then it's like, it's like, Chief, are you there? Is that you in there? Says Kai. And Chief just looks at her and doesn't say anything. But even if it is Cortana, it doesn't matter. Because no one's ever really gone. Like, they just keep coming back. And that was exactly like when they tried to do fake out Kai's death today, too. Where the ship crashes into the ground, and it's like, firstly, Spartan is going to be fine from that. Because the Mjolnir armor will keep them safe, because it's stonking it has enough magical in-lore MacGuffins already that they don't even need to excuse that. So, and then it's like, oh, there she is crawling out of the burning wreck. It's like, oh, look, she's living. Like, there's no stakes in the show. No. At no point am I going like, oh no. I think the most surprising thing was the Grima Wormtongue's death. Like, I even kind of suspected McKee was gonna die today, because her arc is over. Like, she's got nowhere to go for her character now.
Well, that's kind of the problem, yes. She has no role to play in the further story, and so, yeah, she did.
She was there for Chief to have feelings, and that was it. And now that he had feelings, she can die now.
Good for her. Good for her. She served her purpose in this story. Now, as a whole, first season of Halo, there were no surprises in this TV show. It was eminently predictable from beginning to goddamn end. It was right on schedule. Helmet comes off first goddamn episode. A throwaway action sequence that introduces the Covenant, and they look a little bit cool, and they've got shields. Shields never work after that point ever again. They're just off. They're gone now.
Yep.
There's a grand total of like 3 big action sequences in the whole show. There's episode 1, there's episode 5, and there's last episode. And then we were done with that as well.
Well, you don't want to include the Quan action sequence?
No. No, I don't want to include the Quan action sequence.
I don't blame you. That was pretty bad, too.
That was pretty bad, too. And then, like, 2 or 3 fist fights. That was all the action we had in the Halo TV show.
A show about a particular point in human history in fiction in the 26th century, where humanity is fighting a colossal losing war against a genocidal invading alien race. It's very peaceful, honestly. In fact, you kind of forget there is a war a lot of the times in that show.
The war only appears... Like, I would say genuinely, the war only appears once in the entire show. And that's when they're like, oh my god, this planet was burnt and stuff. And it's like, oh, there's a war going on. We should totally fight it or something.
Oh yeah, there's another threat that isn't Halsey and my emotions.
It's like, my god, there's something out there. That was about the only time the war actually became significant, for about 5 minutes, maybe, tops. That was about it. The human interactions are just boring because, again, it is also infinitely goddamn predictable. This is not a new story. Like, writers, you are not the first one to go like, oh my god, a soldier discovers his humanity in the midst of warfare. No, shut up. You are not visionaries. You are not telling the story in a new and interesting way. This is the same garbage we've seen it again and again in a ham-fisted fashion. Chief picks his goddamn pink vibrator out of his spine and then goes to listen to music. It is as rote and uninspired as humanly possible. The only thing you were missing was a tiny tear on Pablo Schreiber's cheek as he saw that dog. That was the only thing you missed. And hey, you know what? True. That would have made the scene better.
But they didn't even do that because that would require effort and maybe a modicum level of acting. Because let's be honest, what do you think of the acting performances of the actors and actresses in the show?
All right, Black Spartan dude, whatever his name is, he takes off his helmet like 2 or 3 times. He's probably my favorite, because at least when he's on screen, he has some good one-liners, like, Gun Grease Woman is like, would you really have shot me? Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. Or I don't remember the previous exchange when she was saying something stupid to him and he just looked at her.
Gum grease in your hair seeping into your skull.
That was
stupid ass questions like this or something like that.
That gun grease seeping into your brain, asking stupid questions. Yeah, that was beautiful too. Like, and honestly, the one scene where he was pointing his gun at Chief's head. What was beautiful about that scene was the way he was tipping his helmeted head a little bit. His arm was shaking a little bit. His entire body language looked stressed. Like, you could tell that the actor in that suit was like gritting his teeth and really trying to bring something out of that scene. That dead, cold, faceless visor was probably the most convincing acting job in the entire show. Because Pablo's facial expression doesn't goddamn change.
Yep. Isn't that strange? A side character, Spartan, the black dude, I don't know the actor's name, is probably he does the most accurate portrayal of a Spartan.
Yes.
Like, of all of them, which is painful.
If you wanted to portray a humanization of a Spartan, that's actually how you do it. He didn't dig out his little pink vibrator. He didn't break the conditioning. Instead, he was just like, no, Master Chief is my friend. And Halsey's fleeing, etc. My whole world is getting turned upside down. That would be a better approach to the humanization than just digging a pink vibrator out of your butthole and then going to listen to some music.
Like, wow, I feel. And having a walk-around session where the camera looks at your face all the time. Like, Pablo Schreiber wanted his face on screen, and my god, do I want it off of the screen. I am tired of the camera just staring at his face and looking at all the crinks and wrinkles in his face as he makes, like, a slightly different expression of, I look brain dead. Like, he's got this brain dead look on him, and the entire show, where he's just got this, like, he looks not like he's sure why he's there. He's like, I don't know why I'm here.
A look of constant, mild confusion.
Like, what, am I supposed to be on set right now?
Like, I don't know enough about Pablo's acting career to make any wide assumptions about anything, but
that's true.
This did not do him any favors. Like, having his face on screen here constantly did not benefit him, in my opinion.
Very true. I mean, it's like, look at Revenge of the Sith, right? A lot of highly skilled, fantastic actors and actresses in that movie, but with bad directing and direction, like, it doesn't matter how good your actor and actress is. Like, their talent is wasted.
Yes. Whereas he would have automatically scored a whole hell of a lot of fanboy points by simply keeping the goddamn helmet on.
That would have solved one of the major issues with the show. The second wing would still be the writer's incessant need to fanfic the story. But had he at least carried that through, I think that would have helped him in the eyes of the fans, as well as won him a lot of brownie points and curry him favor with probably other IPs as well. Because I think this is gonna reflect very poorly on him as time goes on.
Yes, I do not think this is the meal ticket that Pablo Schreiber perhaps thought it would be.
See, the fact that I know his name is Pablo Schreiber, like, I feel like the best actors in acting are the ones I can't remember their names.
Well, that's because you're brain damaged.
It's not that, it's just bad with names. But often I remember their characters they play because they play them so well. It's like Christopher Lee. Like, I remember his name. But, like, when I think Christopher Lee, I think of the characters and roles he played. I think of Count Dooku. I think of Saruman. You know, just phenomenal acting skills.
Pablo Schreiber, however, played the role of Pablo Schreiber.
That's true.
It was a thorough mess. Like, the story's not good, it's not well told, the plot holes are constant and endless, and the MacGuffin is used to solve everything. Whenever the writers place the cast in a situation they cannot escape from, the magic space rock glows, and poof, problem solved.
Yeah, isn't that a waste? Instead of giving us an opportunity to see the characters get out of or deal with a situation they are in, like, way over their heads in, like, the MacGuffin just shows up and solves the problem for them. So they have zero character growth. They have zero realization of their limits or of anything like that. Because, don't worry, Triangle fixes Triangle things. Now, how are they going to do that in Season 2? Like, what's going to be the next MacGuffin?
And when finally there was a point where the Spartans were pushed to the wall and they were like, oh my god, the brutes, the elites, the grunts, the thingity-bobbity-bobbity-bobs, then Halo's solution to this problem, Pablo Schreiber's solution to this conundrum, is not to do something amazing, is not to man up and fight, is not to do the impossible, save the team and the MacGuffins, or choose one of the two. Be like, oh no, I value my team over the MacGuffin. Like, Cortana's like, there's no way for you to save both the MacGuffin and your team. You should have gone like, then I choose my team. No, none of that. Instead he goes, AI woman, please take over my mind.
Please, I'm scared. I can't fight. I don't know how. And she's like, no, dude, just like man up. And he's like, no, I'm gonna kill myself. And he unironically kills himself.
And he unironically does it, yes. God.
Like, that's such a weak-ass MC, isn't it? Like, he doesn't solve his own problems. He relies on, like, others to do it. And the minute things get tough, he would rather kill himself than solve the problem.
Through a genuinely poor showing. Like, uninteresting, forgetful, uninteresting characters, uninteresting plot lines, constant plot holes, constant problems, and all to deliver us a half-hearted humanization story that could have been done better in a dozen different ways by a dozen different characters. Terrible.
And the worst part is, this is only the beginning.
I look forward to season 2.
I certainly hope they don't renew it past this season. Like, surely the guys who backed this must be going like, oh my god, we've made a horrible mistake by giving them their trust. I don't know what kind of drugs they drugged the people, the investors or whatever, when they pitched this to them. Like, oh, you should trust us. Like, it's Halo, dude. Like, look at how cool Halo is. Look at how popular it is. Like, it's an easy win, you know? And they're like, okay, it sounds good. You know, Halo shows Halo's popular. Like, a new Halo game came out. Halo games are going to be a thing for a long time. Sounds like an easy win, right? This has been an absolute disaster. Like, if you look at any of the things, any of the social media networks in regards to Halos or community and stuff like that, it's an absolute shit show. But the one thing this has done, the one good thing this show has done, is it's exposed to us the people who are little lying, corporate simps that will sell out at the first chance. Remember the people that sold out during this show. Never forget their names or their faces, because they aren't Halo fans.
Luckily, there'll be a long time until we'll see Space Marine Halo again.
Well, at least a year. Thank God.
A small break. Right. Yep, nope, that's pretty much my conclusion. The Halo show was a pretty damn bad show. And it was, most damningly of all, it most certainly wasn't Halo.